In this video, we're going to have a look at how we can use auto size pulls to select the pull size based on the width of our door or drawer front, or the height of our door, whether they're horizontal or vertical. So in this example, we're going to have a look at our hardware, and we'll have a look at some drawer types. And so for our pull type drawer, we're going to change that to this auto size option. And that's been updated to now have an option in the wizard here to be able to select what type of pulls are included in your auto size. And so by default, the auto size is going to load up with all of our available pulls that we call auto size, but you can actually set those to any pull that you'd like. And so if we change this, and let's say our job has 3 different pull sizes that are used inside of our cabinets, depending on the width of our cabinet, it's going to use 3 different drawer pulls for those cabinets. And so in order to make Microvellum automatically calculate which pull is used on which type of drawer, we'll set this to 3. And then here we can just go and we can use this selection box to select what type of pull is going to be used for that. So if we go down to here, we could actually use any of these different pull types. So if we had wire pulls and we wanted to say which type of wire pull was going to be our handle, we could do that. I'm just going to pick some options from inside of our handle folder here. So for our first one, I'm going to say we're going to use the 7-inch handle, and we're going to use the let's say the 10 3/4 for the next group, and for our larger cabinets we're going to use the 20-inch pull. And so those are the 3 pull options that we have on this job. Now you can see that the pull length is not updated, but it is in red, which would seem to indicate that there's a formula there. There's no refresh button available inside of the wizard, so we'll just say Save Project Wizard and just go back into it for a minute. And if your pull hardware is set up the same way as the majority of the pulls inside of the hardware library, then those values will automatically populate with the actual lengths of those pulls. And so those values are going to be used in order to calculate the size of what pull is to be used on which front. So the other part that's important to that is that there is a global variable that affects that as well, and that's going to determine what the distance is from the actual end of the pull and how much drawer front you want to have on the outside of that pull. So if we go to our hardware and our pull selection and settings, under our auto size pulls here, there's a pull auto size minimum clearance. This pull auto size option allows us to force the software to always use one type of pull, which is really not really auto size at all. It's just the selection of a particular pull. So the one that we want to pay attention to here is the pull minimum clearance, and so we're going to say 4 inches. And if we look at the help text, that's the minimum dimension of the front to extend past the auto size pull. So the total height or width of the front less this dimension will be used to calculate the pull size. So if the width or height of the front minus that is more than 20 7/8, then it's going to select this one. Otherwise, it's going to go down the list and find one that does fit. So we'll have a look at how that works in our drawer bank cabinets. And so what I've done is just drawn a number of different drawer bank cabinets here. And so if we go to the prompts on these, you'll see that the pull type is set to auto size, because that's what it was set to in our wizard. And so it's selected the pull for this 15-inch cabinet based on the pull selection that I've chosen. And so here you can see, if we redraw these products, which pulls it's using based on the selection. And so I don't actually have any cabinets currently using the 7-inch pull, because my cabinet is greater than the dimension needed. So let me just change this down to a 13-inch cabinet. And so there you can see it's updated, and it's using a different pull for that cabinet. So we have the 7, the 10, and the 20-inch used on these different cabinets. For those wondering how it's calculating the length of the pulls, it's actually pulling it from the machine tokens. And so when I said they have to be set up the way that the rest of the pulls are set up, that's what I meant, is that here the first token on the machining for that pull needs to be the drilling operation that's going to create the holes. And so what it's doing is looking at this X dimension and adding that negative value times 2 plus the distance between the holes to get the overall length on the pull. And so that's how the pulls are set up and how it's calculating those. If you don't add any machining tokens, if you're adding new pulls and you don't add any machining tokens, it's not going to be able to calculate those lengths, but you can certainly just type those values in on your own.